Yo, Panther Nation, what is good? Welcome back to Two Fans in the Stands. I am your favorite armchair GM, CJ.
And I am your favorite couch scout extraordinaire, Tony. Come on, one time. Uh, what is
Okay, this,
happening?
this this one time. That's all you need.
Hey, that's for the Jadeveon Clowney fans. You heard me?
Hey, I understand, dog, but I'm trying to say what's up to everybody. And this is all I see out the corner of my eye, man. It's too much.
No, it's not. Now, can we move on?
Hey, what's good, cousin? How you doing today, dog?
Man, I can't call it. You know me, man. Always trying to shake honey from a tree, man. Hey,
Okay, all right,
just
okay,
just hey, we just keep receiving good news on top of good news, and I
man.
know we said that we're gonna try to remain optimistic and
Mm-hmm.
not get our hopes up too high, but they kind of making it kind of hard for a kid to stick to his word. But I'm gonna
Nah,
try to
bro.
hang in there though. What
Hey,
what about you, Cuz?
I'm holding strong, dog. I'm holding strong. Even though I like what's going on, I like the moves. I'm going to remain
Right,
steadfast, and I'm not going to get my hopes up. Let me tell you, I want to see week
gotcha.
one. I want to see what's going to go down on the field, and then we will go from there. Because, like I said last year, the first preseason game, the first snap.
Right.
I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, oh crap, this ain't it. But I was like, you know what? I fell into that. Oh, it's just preseason. Oh, they're not installing all the plays, all this and all that. And then we got to the regular season, and Frank put about three more plays into the playbook and ran it for the rest of the season. So, hey, well, at least that's the way it looked to me, man. But yeah, man. Hey, but thank you for everybody that's joined us. I'm gonna go through the chat here. 910 all the time said, "What's up, homie?" Said, "Hell yeah, Gilmore. Draft we won't be nothing but a bonus. Come home. Yeah, come home, son. Come home. Yeah, exactly. We're gonna
What's
get into
going on,
Gilmore here
Nine
in a little
Nine?
bit. Mr. Big Arm, what about if Newton and Kool-Aid fall out of the first round and we get Corley at our 65? Hey, possibility. Possibility. They just said hi to NFC champ Carolina Panthers. Hey, like I said, just keep expectations at low right now, okay? Mr. Hunky Dory with the $2 super chat already, sir. Let me tell you,
What's going on, Mr.
I will
Hunky
go ahead
Dory?
and send that to my ISP. Hopefully we will have no problems tonight. Oh my goodness. He also
Someone
said,
has been a moment how to see what's cooking. You already
uh-huh.
know, Mr. Hunky Dory.
He
He
said we're
already
straight
know.
up one draft from being serious contenders. We'll see. We'll see. Let me tell you,
Yeah.
I just I hate to I, I I hate to get all excited. I am optimistic, but like I said, I reserve all of my judgment and all of my what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Hell, I can't think of it, but yeah, I'm reserving all of what I can't think of until I see something on the field. There you
Excitement.
go.
Excitement.
Maybe excitement, expectation. I don't know. Hell, hey, look, hey,
All 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 the
Mister,
above.
yeah, Mister Hunky Dory. That's exactly what he was doing. All them damn crab hands. He said,
You
Panthers
already
fans hit the like. Yes, you know what, Nate? I'm glad you said that. And while all y'all are in here, thank you for pulling up. And if you haven't already, please hit the like button. Help us out with the YouTube algorithm. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, like us on all social media at Two Fans in the Stands. You can catch us over on Twix, our combination of Twitter and X. We are at Two Fans ITS. Okay. Rock Jones, what's good? Hey, what's good, dog? How you doing, man?
that's
Hey,
good, Rock.
hey, look, we bringing another one of Carolina boys home, man, and we gunning for a third one. Look, maybe a fourth one come draft time. So, hey,
Never know. You never
mm-hmm.
know.
Mr. Big I said, I think I already got that one already. Carl D, what up, fellas? I laugh every time it looks like the titles you gave yourselves, Armchair GM, the Couch Scout. Hey, yeah, that's us, man. That is us. I'm just the
Already.
armchair GM, dog. That one right there.
Yeah.
He is the Couch Scout. So I'll
Yes,
give him
sir.
credit for that. All right. Well, Tony, let's get into it, cuz man. Let's get into why everybody has joined us tonight. And I'm not even gonna lie, man. I had to change up the whole setup a little bit because we had one thing already brewing and we want to talk about it. And then lo and behold, the Panthers signed Jadeveon Clowney. So
Hey, shout out to our boy, what's up, Doug. You know what I'm saying? Who gave us the heads up? Cause I'm at an 8 hour time difference, and I was getting ready to shut it down for the night. You know, he plugged us in and
uh-huh.
let me know what was going on. So that was some great communication. So we appreciate that, Doug. Oh, there you
You
go.
already know.
There you
You
go.
already know. You
What's
already know.
going
There
on?
you
There
go.
you go. There you go. There you go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Fellas, what's going on? What's going on? I am not
Hey,
home. I know people see this background. I am not home. I will be back in Texas next week. It's just my blue screen, my green screen. I call it my blue screen because the blue
man. Oh,
lights.
Yeah.
oh
So,
yeah, we could
I
tell.
thought
We could tell.
I thought there was a glitch in the matrix or something.
Oh Lord.
you
I'm
already know
just
he gonna
saying.
mess with me, man. You know he gonna
Yeah.
mess with
I'm
me.
just saying,
But yeah,
man.
let's go ahead and get into it, man. It's a
Yes,
lot to
yes,
talk
sir.
about.
All right, y'all.
Yes,
So
sir.
Jadeveon Clowney, all right. He signed a 2-year, $20 million deal that is worth up to 24 million with incentives. Okay. And we don't know the facts and
Yes.
figures just yet of how it's going to hit the cap, what the breakdown is, guaranteed money. At least I don't think we know yet. If anybody does know, holla at us. Go ahead, Tony.
It was 2 years, $20 million, up to $24 million. Yeah, 2 years, up to $24 million, and I'm pretty sure 20 million of that is guaranteed, and then one of the
Mm,
incentives is based
Facts.
on the sacks, whether it's eight
mm.
sacks, 10 sacks, or
10
12
and
sacks.
12.
Uh,
Facts.
yeah, Adam
Oh, okay.
Adam Schefter reported that. I'm sorry I didn't
Okay.
get a chance to make a slide with that, but yeah, I meant to put that on the slide. But
Mm,
yeah, that's one of the incentives. But now, as far as the complete breakdown, yeah, that's all we have right now.
okay. Bet. So we got a tweet here by Jacina Anderson. She said, I just got off the phone with Jadeveon Clowney and his wife seconds after they hung up with the Panthers on his decision to join Carolina. Clowney's mother had not even yet heard the news at the time. Said, we're going to be just 30 minutes from home. It's where we do all our community and foundation work going into season 11. Plus, my granddaddy's getting older, and last year we had a lot of losses in our family. So honestly, it just feels like a full circle moment being closer, said Clowney. He spoke with the Ravens. He also liked his visit with the Jet. Both places were fits, but the Panthers pursued him the hardest. This is a special day for us, said Naja Clowney. All right. So,
Yeah,
you know, hey, the Panthers did what they had to do. And it was kind of wild because once he left, he had a visit here, and then they said he was going to visit the Jets. We all thought that Carolina made that vital, mistake, the error, and let him get out of the building. Because I always say when somebody comes to visit, you really want them to sign that contract. You don't let them get out of the building. Clowney got out of the building, but Carolina kept the pressure on him, and we signed him. So, fellas, let me know
yeah.
what do y'all think about this and how y'all feel about it.
Go ahead, Doug.
Um, it's not a hometown discount. We paid him a lot of money for him to come home. It wasn't about the money. I think these next 2 years or next year, I think after next year, Clown's gonna go ahead and call it a career. I mean, if you just heard what his wife said, I mean, they're closer to home. It's all about basically playing for the professional team where he went to college at and where he's from.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Right.
for a long time, we definitely, as Panther fans, we wanted Clowney to come to Carolina years ago. Years ago, whenever he was a free agent, where he did do his trial run after he left Houston. So, for me, I love it. It's a veteran that's in that room that can help a young man if we do draft. You still have Wanham. You still have I got his name. Hold on. Do not, because look, I got his name right here for my video. Kavalon Chasen. You still got a young man right
Yeah.
there that can, I didn't butcher his name, Tony. You saw that, right? So, so It's just having a veteran in a room that's had double digit close to double digit sacks, being in 9.5 the last 2 years is very key for this young room that we've had to basically tear down and remodel and put glue together. And now you have a person in Jadeveon Clowney coming back home and kind of sort of finishing out his career, but still have juice in the tank. That's a good thing to do, man.
Facts.
Yeah. CJ, if you remember, I think last year there was kind of hopes and discussions of us bringing Jadeveon Clowney home last year, and I was kind of against it because history has shown us, that Jadeveon Clowney was pretty much chasing the money. You know what I'm saying? If you look at his last two contracts, before the one that he just, before the one that he played on in Baltimore, it was about getting the most money possible. And up until last year, he really hadn't had a year like he had last year. So, I was saying, the money has to be right. The money has to be right, you know, to want to bring him home, in my opinion. So now when we look at this year and the contract, the money is right. You know what I'm saying? 10 to 12 million a year, however you want to slice it, however they're going to do it. They didn't break the bank. And then when you look at the production, his production last year was better than Brian Burns. Brian Burns getting ready to make 30 million a year. We're paying
Facts.
Jadeveon Clowney 10 to maybe 12 million a year, depending on how the contract breaks down. It
Say
may
that too
be,
loud.
a 1 year deal. Say that again.
I said, don't say that too loud.
Hey, it is what it is. Like they say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. You know what I'm saying? They they
Facts.
they can argue with the dog on that one. But listen, the production, which he had his best productive season of his career last year.
Facts.
Win sack rate was like top 5 in the league, hit nine and
78
a half
pressures.
sacks.
78
Yeah.
pressures.
The 78 pressure. I think that was like number 1 in the league.
He was number one in the
So
league, and that was his highest total throughout his whole career.
yeah. So when you compare apples, apples to apples, I mean, I like this apple over here a little better than this apple. So that's one of the things I was talking about as far as what is his value, what kind of money would he be asking for, and what you saw last year is what we have been wanting to see from Jadeveon Clowney since he entered the league. So I think it's a great signing. Bring him on home. I don't know how they're gonna make it work all up under the cap. I'm pretty sure they got that worked out. Now all I need to see is Stephon Gilmore, and now we got South Point High School all over again.
Facts. Hey, welcome the big homie, Rich Uncle Quan. How you doing, sir?
What's up,
What's
Quan?
going on, fellas? How y'all doing, man?
Doing good,
Man,
man.
we
Hey,
we we good. If you could just get Doug to pay attention, man, and off his phone,
Hey,
we
I'm looking at
understand.
updates. See, Tony, I'm looking at updates while you coming at me. Don't worry
Well,
about
let him
I'm
cook. Don't
okay.
let him cook.
it.
Hey, Quan. Hey, man, go
what's
ahead
up,
and jump
man?
on in. Tell us, man, how you feel about the Panthers landing Jadeveon Clowney.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
this is huge, man. This is a huge deal for us Panthers fans. I mean, we've been pretty much banging the table for him all free agency. So the fact that we actually secured this signing, it definitely screams a lot as far as Dan Morgan goes, man. It's showing us that he's serious about his work. It also shakes up the draft board and what we could possibly do at 33 and 39 now, because going prior to this signing, man, our major need was definitely edge. So now that you bring in Jadeveon Clowney and you got Wonham on the other side, I mean, you pretty much at a good position. So you got some depth pieces with Marquise Haynes. You got DJ Johnson. So the edge spot right now is I think it's pretty solid. You got some veterans in there. So we pretty good, but I think they'll end up maybe signing a young guy in the draft. So again, it's a lot we can do now. I mean, you could possibly, go ahead and get a wide receiver at 33. Maybe you go ahead and get an edge if somebody falls there. I mean, it's this draft coming up, man. It's gonna be an exciting draft, man, because we don't know how this board is gonna shake up, and really free agency is not even done yet. So I'm interested to see how this gonna go. But as far as us, man, like we definitely secured the bag when we signed Clowney.
Okay.
Oh,
Hey,
one other thing, CJ,
uh-huh.
the Panthers also are first on the waiver wire through the
Yep.
first 4 games of the season.
Yeah,
So
saw
there's
that.
going to be a lot of players that's going to be released between OTAs, training camp, and the first 4 games of the season, and we get first dibs on whoever is released. So that's another way that we're going to be able to add talent to the team. So all hope is not lost. There's always somebody on the waiver wire, that we can use that's valuable. And by us having the first pick on the waiver wire, that's big for us as well.
Facts. Hey, and I was gonna say, to Quan's point, Marquise Haynes, isn't he a free agent? Am
He's
I
a free
mistaken?
agent. I thought
Okay.
it's Barno. It's Barno. He probably meant Barno. We got Barno still,
Oh,
but yeah,
okay.
Haynes is a free
Now, I mean,
agent.
Yeah, we got
aren't
Barno.
they
Yeah,
aren't they planning on bringing back Haynes though?
Not
I
as I
hope
heard
so.
of.
I don't
I
know.
haven't heard that.
I haven't heard anything.
Well, I mean, think
Dang.
about it. We brought back Sam Franklin today. So again, if it's on a
Yeah.
1 year rental and you're not really throwing a bag at him, it makes sense. But I
Mm-hmm.
know right now Barno is still here because they talked about
Yeah.
the injury that nobody knew that he had later in the year, had surgery on. But Marquise Haynes, if I'm not mistaken, is a free agent. But the point I wanted to make, where Quan made a good point about the draft. I mean, I know we're going to talk about it later in the show,
Mm-hmm.
but is it really a lie where Dan Morgan said we really can go BPA? We didn't know Jadeveon Clowney was going to sign, but they also said they've been in contact with him, and for him to come out and say we're really going to go BPA, just depending on the need that we have and how the board falls, he said that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and lo and behold, look at it now. You really can go into a draft with BPA.
Yep. Yeah. Facts.
Facts.
I don't.
Big facts.
I do not know what Dig It and Mr. Hunky Dory is talking about in the chat.
Oh,
I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Hunky Dory said PFF grades for Clowney have been green every year except his first. He said Burns, there's a serious lack of green. Also, Clowney is 10 times better at run defense than Burns. And then Digit said, Mr. Hunky Dory, there's a serious lack of green in my wallet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just
Go
want
ahead.
to say one thing, CJ, before you move forward. Signing Jadeveon Clowney is great for us right now. It is huge. It does fill a need that we have at the defensive end, rush outside linebacker spot. But because of Warnham and he's still recovering from that torn quad, and they say he won't be available for training camp. I'm
Mm-hmm.
still in the
I thought it was
mindset
OTAs.
that
Is it training camp or
yeah,
OTAs? Like,
OTAs. I'm
OTAs.
sorry,
He's
yeah,
definitely gonna
OTAs.
miss OTAs. Yep.
okay.
Right. I'm still in the mindset because depending on that situation, it that's one of those injuries that you just don't know. And I just
Mm-hmm.
think that Carolina needs to prepare, not only have a backup plan for now, but be prepared for the future. I still
Mm-hmm.
think if one of those top edge rushers is available for you at 33 or 39, that you also pick there. And let's not forget, I know we're not really talking about, but let's not forget, if one of these top cornerbacks fall to us, that's an option as well. Because we know we've been screaming another cornerback for the past 2 or 3 years. So let's not forget that.
Mm-hmm. Hey, well, you know what? Let me get into this next slide, and then we'll swing back around and talk about how Clowney and the person on this next slide, who happens to be an old teammate of Clowney, may affect our draft. All right. So we signed Jadeveon
Yeah.
Clowney, but there's another person that also went to the University of South Carolina, also went to South Point High School in Rock Hill, and his name is Stephon Gilmore. Okay. And Joe Person reported yesterday that the Panthers have reached out to free agent cornerback Stephon Gilmore about a possible return to Charlotte, per league source. Gilmore, who went to the same high school as Jadeveon Clowney, made Pro Bowl with Carolina 2021 and has continued to play well into his 30s. Okay, so I really hope this possibility turns into a reality. I really do, because like we said, we got Dane Jackson. Okay, we have, who else is behind him? We re-signed Troy Hill, and we still have what's my man name? Deshaun Jameson. Deshaun Jameson.
And
Okay,
and DiCaprio Boodle.
DiCaprio Boodle. And then at the top of the list, you have J.C. Horn, who, as of what we've seen, okay, we all hope that he can stay healthy, but what we've seen so far, it's kind of a 50-50 shot right now whether he stays healthy the whole year or not. So, and we've like Tony said, we've all been screaming cornerback for a long time, and there's been a debate, whether we use one of those second round picks on the cornerback as well. So if we can get Gilmore in here for maybe another year or two, how does that affect our draft this year? And I think if we were to sign him, that would have really put a stamp on that best player available strategy that Dan Morgan has been talking about. Because now it's like, who's on the board, who's the top person, go ahead and get him. So, fellas, what's your thoughts on Gilmore?
Go ahead, Quan.
Tony, or you jump? Oh, go ahead, Quan.
Let Quan go ahead.
I'm gonna be real with y'all, man. I know a lot of Panthers fans are excited about this, but I'm one of the very few that's just like, I mean, if you can get him on a nice team-friendly deal, okay, yeah, let's bring him back in. I mean, this is a hell of a veteran. Obviously, he did really well with us. He had great production with us, made a Pro Bowl, just like the screen is showing you. But I'm only saying that because I'm more interested in youth right now. I want youth at the corner position. J.C. Horn hasn't been healthy. I just want somebody that's able to go out there and guard these top tier receivers, because the receivers around the league right now are crazy. Even in our division, these receivers are crazy. So, and then not even speaking about the draft, you got more that's coming out. So I want youth at that position. But again, if you can bring him on a team friendly deal for like a year or two, and maybe get him to coach up these guys, and we take in his strategies and all that stuff, then I'm with it. But I wouldn't pay the bag for Gilly.
Yeah, go ahead, Quan. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Doug.
So I'll say this. I'm more 60-40 it. I'm all for it. I was able to see him living in Texas, going to a couple Cowboys games. He still has juice in the tank. And one thing we were not able to see as Carolina Panther fans was J.C. Horn and Stephon Gilmore on one side and the other on the other side. And I am with Quan with the youth part, but if you still got juice in the tank, it's not like where we're bringing Josh Norman back and he's getting cooked. I mean, Gilmore still was being able to be productive when he was at the Dallas Cowboys. Outside of that last game when they played in Green Bay with him, when he should have set out with a hurt shoulder that he had the week before going into the playoffs, Gilly had a great year throughout the whole season. Not saying that Quan is not, it's saying that, it's not a viable piece, but I understand where he's coming from the youth part. You can still draft a young man, but why don't, really and truly, who do we have in the cornerback room that has veteran presence that can actually be a top dog and come and help a young corner come in? Nobody. J.C. Horn has been injury prone. I'm a huge J.C. Horn fan. Dan Jackson has not had a starting role, and the other two young men were either drafted last year or 2 years ago. So if you bring in Stephon Gilmore, you're looking at a leadership guy. You're bringing the guy that still has the juice in the tank, and he does not have to start. He can also play in the slant. But one thing that I am going to say is Dan Morgan, if we do draft one, you have to look at the point. He wants to have competition at every position. And they're doing that. They're bringing in competition. They're bringing in veteran leadership to help this young roster. And I told Quan this behind the scenes, this is not a rebuild. This is a retool. Because if you're bringing in guys that can actually help your young talent that you're drafting, or young men that have not had the tools, like Wanham learned from Danielle Hunter before he went to the Houston Texans. Wanham should definitely have some pass rushing skills. But if you have him learn even more from Jadeveon Clowney, why can't Stephon Gilmore teach J.C. Horn, these other young men in that room, how to be a good corner because he was still a good corner when he left the Patriots. And again, I think a lot of people are so upset whenever we let him walk. And I was one of them. I know a couple people here in this chat and on this platform are definitely upset that we should have re-signed him rather than letting D-Jack stay here. D-Jack should have one that been cut, and then we had Stephon Gilmore in the other corner, and we maybe could have seen the magic of having J.C. Horn and Stephon Gilmore playing in that cornerback position. So I'm all for it. I don't think we need to throw the bag at him because again, this is another young man that was happy to come back home. He said it whenever he did make the Pro Bowl, and he was happy to come back home, play for his hometown team. But now he's on the back end of his career. And again, like I think Clowney would never wear another uniform outside of Carolina. I think it's time for Gilly to come back one more time, and we make a run for it.
Yeah.
I'm on the same mindset, but hold on before we get started. Yeah, do us a favor, everybody. Smash that like button, subscribe, turn those post notification bells. As I see 72 people in the chat watching, but only 25 likes. So if you would take out a quick 7.5 seconds of your day and smash that like button, and help us out with the algorithm. So you also be aware when we drop new content and go live. But yeah, I would love for this to happen. We talked about Stephon Gilmore he shouldn't have never left in the first place. And I know it wasn't up to him or it wasn't his doing. That's what this is one of those situations where we talked about the last regime, Matt Rule and Scott Fitterer and them boys dropping the ball. You know what I'm saying? Pause. And this is one of those things where we just knew that Stephon Gilmore should have never have left the building. He should never have left the building because of the experience and the good quality of football that he brought to this team and how these younger players looked up to him. I don't think nobody has to really worry about us throwing a bag at him because I don't think he's really searching for the quote unquote bag right now at this point in time in his career. But just like with Jadeveon Clowney, we had, I guess you could call it an advantage because he's from this area. Well, Stephon is from this area too. His wife is from Charlotte. They live in Charlotte in the off season. They still have their house that they purchased, when they came home this last time. So there may be a possibility because we're in a new regime, new things are happening, that he may be willing to quote unquote take a hometown discount and come back home and finish his career in Carolina. But like I said, we should have never had let him go. So hopefully this is a wrong that we can right, make things right and get Gilly back in the Panthers uniform like he should be. Go ahead, CJ.
Yep. Hey, and shout out the Digit with the $5 super chat. He said, "Cash for the cause. I found some green in the sofa cushions." Hey, we appreciate it, sir. We appreciate you as always, man. Hey, I also want to say that after the season where he was going to the Pro Bowl, me and my wife were going to Vegas, and that year the Pro Bowl was in Vegas, and we actually were on the same plane as Stephon Gilmore, and so it was because we saw him get on there, and his family was getting on the plane. They were trying to find seats, and so we were sitting right there in the aisle next to the emergency door, and so there was a seat next to my wife that was empty. So while I was figuring out, he came and sat next to my wife, and I ain't gonna lie, I was sitting there, I was just like, I kind of froze. And then my wife, she tapped him on the arm, and she said, "How you doing?" So she said, he's a real big fan." And I'm sitting over there, I was just like, hey, how you doing? But I just want to say, Panther Nation, I tried my damnedest, because when we got off the plane and got to the airport in Vegas, we ended up seeing him again, and his family was coming to the elevator, and it was just me and my wife on it. So I held the elevator, and all his family got on the elevator. He talked to me on the ride down for a little bit, and I was just like, "Hey," I said, "I don't know how much this will persuade your decision." I said, "But if it's one person, wants you to stay, I said, please consider coming back to Carolina." So I just want to let everybody know I tried my damn, a few years ago to get him to come back, but it didn't work. So I don't know. Maybe Stephon, if you hear this, you know, come on back, because we all want you to come back. I all want you to come back. So all right, I'm sorry, y'all. That was my little story.
No, CJ, that's a good story because honestly, my dad is a Cowboys fan, so I'm here with my parents, and we were talking about today. And for me, we know Dan Quinn left. Zimmer is their new defensive coordinator. But if you really look at it, Dan Quinn didn't pick him up, and I don't know why he didn't go to Washington yet, and I don't know why he didn't re-sign with Dallas. So is it again? What is he really looking for? Is it really that he wants to come back home? Because yes, I know the Dallas Cowboys, shout, "Oh, Diggs and Bland are good." If you really look at it statistically, Stephon Gilmore, when Diggs went out, was better. He just didn't get the interceptions like Bland received this past year. So, and if you look at the scheme, one thing that we always say is, if your defensive line is great, what helps with your DBs? You get all the interceptions that you want. I know everybody says that Josh Norman did his thing. Yes, he did. I'm not going to take anything away from Josh Norman, but look at that front seven that he had in front of him when he was able to get those interceptions that year.
Yes.
So if you look at it where the front end helps the back end and the back end helps the front end, and why not get a guy like Stephon Gilmore to come back home and let's let it rock? Because again, if you do get Gilmore, yes, you still might have to draft a corner because he's up in age, but there's no pressing need. Because one thing I know Tony alludes to, even on Twitch and on the channel, Carolina can trade back that 33rd pick. I tell them I don't want it. I don't want to trade back. If you really think about it, if you really want to get youth on this roster and bring in talent, you really don't. You can trade it or you don't. But if that board falls, and I say this on Twitch today, if a team gives you too rich of a deal to move from 33, you take it. And when I mean too rich, they give you a second, multiple thirds, and a pick next year. You take that deal, but you don't fall too out of the rim of your play or your players that you want. But again, nobody knew that we were going to get Clowney or Gilly or possibly get Gilly within 48 hours since Dan Morgan spoke earlier this week.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not. Yeah, the only reason, the only way I would say trade 33 if it did happen, if one of those top quarterbacks just so happened to fall out of the first round, there's going to be teams clamoring to get up to that first pick on day 2 of the draft. So you won't get the same kind of ransom if you had the number 1 overall pick, but that 33rd pick is just as good as having that first overall pick, and you still can get a king's ransom for it. You know what I mean? So like Doug said, not falling too back, accumulating more picks, because like Dan Morgan said, he wants to build this thing through the draft. He wants to hold on to draft capital. So what's the best way of getting draft capital? If adding more draft capital to what you already have in the stable. So if you can do that, if you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone and still get the player that you have circled on your draft board, at pick 33, and you can get them a few picks later and still accumulate 2 or 3 more picks for the future, why not?
I don't know, man. That's a lot of what ifs, man. I feel like, I don't know. I would stay at 33. I wouldn't touch that. I wouldn't even answer the phone or nothing like that, man. I would just stay at 33 because the talent that's in this draft, you really can go BPA at 33. And I mean, you can get somebody that can come in and have an immediate impact for defense or offense, depending on what they go with. So I don't know, man. I feel like that's a tricky situation. Yeah, you can get more draft capital, but I don't know. I just feel like that's an important position, especially since we don't really have a first round pick. Having those those 2 picks in the second is gonna be pivotal, man.
Yeah. Hey, and I just want to let everybody know out there, because I keep seeing this one post going around on Twitter that's talking about what the Panthers gave up drafting Bryce Young. And I just want to remind everybody, we have our first round pick next year. Okay. That 2025 first round pick was not part of the deal. The 2025 second round pick is the one that we lost. Okay, I've seen that floating around a lot this week,
Facts.
especially last couple of days. We still have a first round pick next year, because everybody's still up in arms about that. Hey, it's over, it's done with now. I just want to mention that. But I also go ahead, Doug. Go ahead.
I just want to make this point about the draft, and
Mhm.
I don't want to trade it back, but I'm gonna make a projection right now. There's gonna be 5 quarterbacks drafted in the first round. If there's 5
Okay.
quarterbacks drafted in the first round, what does that do for your draft board? Talent falls down. Somebody either in that DN room, cornerback room, or wide receiver room are going to fall off that line. And
Yeah.
I would say this, with Neighbors running a 4-3-5, and I know I'm probably going to take a lot of the slack for that. He may be wide receiver 1 right now because of the way Harrison Jr. has not been really participating through pro days and combine. I understand tape doesn't lie, but Neighbors didn't have bad tape on at LSU either. And again, it just depends on what fits happen. But again, if they trade up and people start taking quarterbacks like at the snap of a finger, there's going to be somebody, maybe 2 or 3 names that are going to fall right at that 33, primed to either be immediate impact starters for Carolina or be an immediate impact player throughout the season. And it just depends on, again, what Dan Morgan wants to do. And I think he has a plan because what's today? Wednesday? Monday, when he sat down with our media people, he alluded to we have a plan and we know what we want to do. We have a vision.
Right.
And one thing I will say is, and I'll give it over to CJ, we don't have conflict in the front office or upstairs. Meaning you don't have the head coach on one end and your GM all the way in the left field. They're right here, tight knit, tight at the hip. They know exactly what they want to do. Dave Canales is telling Dan what to do. This is what I need. Hey, we're gonna go ahead and get it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's no confusion. That word
you
alignment is a true word that they have is alignment.
Hey,
Thanks, man.
before
Go
you go,
ahead.
CJ. Go ahead, Quan. Go ahead.
I know. I was just kind of piggybacking off of Doug. With having talent fall on the board, that it happens pretty much every year. So I'm definitely expecting it to happen. There's gonna be some talent where we might have something fall into our laps where we all just kind of going crazy on Twitter. I mean, I don't know. It just depends on how this board will fall. But that's a good point with the quarterbacks. It's gonna be some teams that's gonna try to trade up and reach for these quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So we definitely in good position.
Yeah. I'm not going. I was getting ready to go in and debate the comment that Doug made about the neighbors compared to Harrison. And I saw somebody say with Harrison I was acting like a diva. But you
It's the
have to
truth.
remember. No, but you have to remember, neighbors 1 year. Marvin Harrison been doing it ever since his freshman year. So
That's a fact.
we can't talk about production matters on one end and then try to crucify not saying that you were Doug, but there's a lot of people in the media trying to crucify this guy because he didn't want to run at his pro day or at the combine as if what he did the past 3 years don't matter. So what's more important, my production on the field or modeling for the scouts in some shorts and a t-shirt? Like, come on, man.
Damn.
Facts.
Not
But
modeling for the
I
scouts.
will give you this point. Jaden Daniels didn't do a lot, and I know Quan. I'm going to say exclude Quan because I can't believe him sometimes. But us Tar Heel fans up here, Drake May has his pro day tomorrow, and he's going to participate in everything. And I know I read that Dan Quinn, Adam Peters, and Cliff Kingsbury are going to talk to Drake May before his pro day. And for me, it's always that battle. And I know the hype with JJ McCarthy as well. Again, that's why I made that prediction tonight. There's going to be a lot of quarterbacks drafted in that first round. And really and truly, you may have one that might be there in the second round that's in the top 5 or top, I mean, however rankings they have it, but I'm saying in the top, I can't say 5 because I said 5 are going to get drafted. Basically, I'm saying within the top 10 of quarterbacks, 5 are going to be drafted. And that one team that may need is going to be there at 33. Are you going to risk trading up or trading away that 33rd pick just for a team that wants a quarterback, or if there's talent that has fell down or fallen out of the first round, what you're going to do. So, I mean, it just depends because, again, it's getting juicier and juicier with the options that are coming available for the Carolina Panthers. And I mean, me, honestly, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think somebody
No,
said
go ahead.
I was going to say, me, honestly, I wouldn't want to be Dan Morgan because I can just see it where, let's just say you got the number one wide receiver that you want, you got the number one DN you want right there, and you got a cornerback. Let Wiggins fall. A lot of people say go draft Wiggins. If you got Lad McConkey, see, there go one right there. then you got one that's saying Lad McConkey. Then you got somebody saying Chop Robinson's right there. What is he gonna do? Because that's 3 hard options right there. When you got a premium DN, you have supposedly the separation guy that was in college, and then you got one of the fastest corners. What exactly are you going to do in Dan Morgan's hands? And I really cannot wait to see what decision making he does with those options. That if somebody falls out of that first round.
In the words of John Lewis, that's good trouble to have.
That's a fact.
Good trouble.
That's a fact.
That's good trouble. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That those are good problems for him to have. Go ahead, CJ.
Yeah, and I was going to say I was going to try to kind of round this back into talking about the draft as well. So we go back now. We got Clowney, okay, and you look at what our defense did last year. We had 27 sacks, which was a league low, okay, and all of those sacks, but I think 4 have left the team. You know, and you have Burns gone, Louisville gone, but you have Woonham on one side, Clowney on the other side. Pray that they both stay healthy all year long. All right. Now that opens up, hopefully that opens up Evero's defense. Maybe he can blitz a little more, bring a little more pressure. You know, on compound that with potentially signing Gilmore, another veteran presence in the secondary. Okay. So my thing is this: at 33, you've got a lot of options, and one thing that 2 people that I really like, okay, Peyton Wilson and Edgerrin Cooper. Okay, so now we have Josie Jewell for 3 years.
Facts.
Okay, so do you if all this works out? Okay, we got one piece, we got Clowney. Say we get the other piece, we got Gilmore. Do you let one of those players pass you by? You say you have somebody else ranked higher on your board and they're there. Okay. Now I know we got 39 as well, but it's not a foregone conclusion yet that they probably will. Okay. But like I like to say, anything is possible. It's not a foregone conclusion that both of them will make it 6 picks later. Okay. But do you go and take a chance on getting a, what we like to call high caliber starting linebacker in this league? Let me see. JPJ is the pick if he fall. I don't care. Oh, Jackson John, what was it?
Jackson Powell Johnson.
Jackson Powell, yeah.
Oregon.
Yeah. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. But
I've been seeing him fall a lot on mocks.
Yeah. But like something like that, because linebacker is a position that we always talk about in our mock drafts. But if you look at some of the polls that we've done, everybody is like wide receiver, edge, wide receiver, edge, wide receiver, edge. So if you're sitting there and you got those 2 picks within like a 6-7 pick span, do you go ahead and jump on one of those linebackers that are there? And like you say, if this is a rebuild, we're rebuilding. We got bringing in competition, but we're also looking for the future. Go ahead, Doug.
I would say this one thing that whenever I was dissecting how the roster looks right now, Derrick Brown takes on a double team, right? You had YGM and you had Brian Burns. Brian Burns got 8 sacks? Am I saying it correct? He had 8 sacks this year.
Yeah.
DJ Wanham had how many sacks this year?
8.
8.
At
8.5.
Jadeveon Clowney had how many sacks this year?
9.5.
9.5.
9.5. And let me make sure I don't say my man's name wrong. Ashawn Robinson is known as a what? Yeah, I got my look. You know. Look, hold on. Let me
Man,
say.
Doug got a hot seat, man.
Look.
Hey,
Let me do this.
Always.
Let me say this.
no.
And
Wait a minute. Do
Hold on, let him
not
talk, Tony. Let him talk,
let
Tony.
that
Let him
pass.
talk.
No, I
Let
am
him
not.
talk.
Do not let that pass by. He put out his notes. What my paper at? Let me see. Caleb Vaughn. Yeah.
look, the reason why I got notes is I broke down our defense earlier this morning. So it's just crazy how we signed Clowney, and I've been looking at fill-ins for this defense. And where I'm getting at is if Derrick Brown is taking a double team, you cannot leave Jadeveon Clowney one-on-one with a tackle. Then you put in A'Shawn Robinson, who, if you look statistically, is a top 5 nose tackle. True nose tackle. We're not talking about just based off of build. True nose tackle. And then if you have Wanham or a rookie on the opposite end of Clowney, you just simply had 24 sacks. That number is going to go tremendously up. Because, again, like we've even said here, you have a 6'4" and a 6'5" nose tackle and D tackle coming at you, and now you have a Clowney veteran DN. I'm getting to the point where you really, again, a good back end is helped from a good front end. And I love Peyton Wilson. I love how Peyton Wilson, has stated that he wants to be a Luke Kuechly 2.0. Luke Kuechly is advocating for Carolina to draft him at 33. It just, and then I'll say this: the Panthers media is infatuated in love with Ladd McConkey and not Ladd McConkey, infatuated with Xavier Legette, and Peyton Wilson had the wrong red colors. So is that a telling sign that they're saying, hey, Carolina's looking at these particular 2 players at 33 and 39, or flip-flop them? So it's just the mixture that we can do with these picks now. I want to sit back and really figure out what we're going to do. Because, again, there's no need for a reach. And I don't think anybody on this panel was going to say there's a reach in any particular players that we've read out. Again, I heard Quan say, yes, sir, and Wiggins. That's not a reach. Because, again, if you put another cornerback there, hey, Gilmore can coach this young man up. You can't coach speed, but you can coach technique. And then, again, with Chop Robinson or Darius Robinson, you got Jadeveon Clowney, one of the best in the league. He can definitely coach you up on technique. Now, linebacker, hey, it is what it is, because I'm not going to disrespect Shaq Thompson, but I have some feelings about Shaq Thompson sometimes. But I know Josie Jewell would definitely be a better line. I definitely do. I'm
kind of disrespectful.
I really think Josie Jewell would be a great addition. I think a lot of people are going to love his game. He's not going to be like a Luke Kuechly, but when I say in the way of getting his nose dirty and actually hitting a pile or hitting a hole, you don't have to worry about going into a hole all frantic. So again, this defense, where again I said we have to be cautiously optimistic on this defense, and with this signing today and with the news with Gilmore, I really think this defense is in prime position to do better than what it did last year.
Yeah. Hey, Slideshow said A-Rob, D Brown, Clowney, the front 3 and the 3-4. I mean, hey,
I'm telling you,
could be a possible rotation.
I'm telling you, that's nasty. It's nasty.
Yeah.
I see T. Thomas.
He said, "Bro, y'all can stop disrespect." Hey, we ain't disrespecting Shaq, man.
We not. I promise you,
I think because me and Tony feel like he's not a true middle linebacker, and he's kind of playing sort of out of position in this 3-4, and hopefully you bring Josie Jewell in, let Shaq Thompson slide to that other inside linebacker spot, and then we'll see where we go from there. But him and Louvu, Louvu, I think, was kind of playing slightly out of position as well in that 3-4 defense. So
especially after the injury with Shaq Thompson.
Facts. Yeah, because he was thrust into the middle linebacker spot, and that really wasn't taking advantage of his skill set, in my opinion. So
speak on it.
Yeah, but no disrespect to Shaq. No disrespect.
No disrespect.
Yeah,
I would say this. I love how Shaq took that pay cut, and I really think if we take Shaq out that middle, and gave up his number. But if Shaq steps out that middle linebacker position, I think Panther fans will see when he plays in the right position where he would excel. That's the only thing that we need him to play in the right position. Then we'll be fine.
Well,
Mhm. Facts.
the thing with Shaq, the thing with Shaq that you need Shaq to do. Shaq needs to be the off ball linebacker, meaning that he is in that 4-2-5 is like him playing the weak side linebacker position.
Facts.
Josie
Facts.
Jewell is going to be manning the inside linebacker position. It's going to be really Josie Jewell sticking his nose in the kitchen and find out what mama cooking. You know what I'm saying? I want to see Shaq get back to the days where he can cover tight ends and running backs out the backfield because he's very valuable as a linebacker in the in the pass coverage game. You know what I mean? He made his chops early on in his career because he was really making that transition when he was in college from safety to linebacker. You know, when he first came into the league, everybody was, a lot of people were saying, well, that's Thomas Davis 2.0 because that's what Thomas Davis did coming out of Georgia. He made that transition from strong safety, pulling a little weight, and became a linebacker. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But Shaq has that ability and the athleticism, even though he's a little older right now, but he can still be effective in the passing game. So when you move him to that off ball, a linebacker position and let him
Mhm.
focus on that because he's not a downhill thumper. He's not the type of linebacker that's gonna stick his nose in the, in the kitchen and find out what mama cooking. He's not that downhill thumper. That's Josie Jewell. So putting him
Yeah.
in the right position in that linebacker spot is gonna be valuable. And for the fact that they bringing him back, I think they see him or see the opportunity just in order to do that.
Hey, look, Slideshow said, who you giving the mic to on defense?
Jewel.
Jewel.
Yeah, either Josie Jewell or Shaq,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
both of them has worn the green dot.
Yeah. And one thing I like about Josie Jewell, he's good at navigating through traffic. You know, he can sniff out a play, he hits the gap, and he'll get in the backfield, he'll get to the quarterback, he'll get to the running back.
Right.
And I think
Mhm.
he'll be effective. And like we were saying, he's an Evero guy. He knows this offense. He knows his defense. So the learning curve for him is probably a lot less than it will be for other players who may be drafted or players that we still may sign in free agency. And Eternal
That's true.
252, thank you for the $2 super chat. He said we got an AFC team
Appreciate
in
it,
the
Eternal.
NFC. Hey, we always
Appreciate you, my
appreciate you,
boy.
man. Glad you're here.
And go Tar Heels. I see the
Go
logo.
Yeah,
Hills.
yes, sir. Go Hills. All right. And let me see. Palmetto Money said Gilmore is not a done deal yet. Correct. Yeah, Gilmore is more speculation at this point. But like
Yeah.
Joe Person said, he per
Right.
source, the Panthers have reached out to him, and for us, it's like, okay, cool. We hope that source is correct, and we hope the Panthers turn this into, come on home, sign with us, and let's make this thing happen. So yeah. Let me see. There was another comment. Chauncey Ellaby, Brady Christian can play center also. I don't think so. He was a guard / tackle coming out of BYU, right? I
He
Yes,
was
haven't
a
he
heard
was. He was
three-year
a
anything
guard. He
about
starter.
was a guard and a tackle, but he was a 3-year starter
okay.
as a tackle.
No. He was
Mm,
he was three-year starter at left tackle at BYU.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, when he came out, Brady Christensen was the highest rated left tackle in the draft. Matt Rule messed that up with him because
Mm-hmm.
the thing that they kept talking about was his arms too short, his arms too short. Well, I didn't see how that affected him on tape when he was in college.
hmm
Facts.
Hey, hold on, real quick.
I'll leave that there.
Real quick. Hey, shout out to Twan Don versus everybody. It's a major shout out to fans in the stands and Doug and
What's
Quan
going
with
on,
$2
Twan?
super chat.
Yes,
Hey, we
sir. What's
appreciate you,
going
big
on?
dog. Thank you
Big
so much.
love,
And
Twan. Big
Yeah,
for
love.
we appreciate
everybody
you,
that
my
don't
boy.
know, y'all go check out Twan at the 704 Charlotte Bound podcast. All right. Oh, and also,
Yeah.
and I apologize, fellas, I forgot. If y'all haven't, our guest on the panel here tonight with us, what's up, Doug? The Panthers Experience Uncle Quan. Y'all make sure y'all go and check out their channels and subscribe as well. And we also got
That's right.
a $10 super chat from Just Zoe. He says, salute, fellas. Hey, Zoe, salute to you, my brother. We appreciate
Appreciate you, Zoe.
We appreciate you with the $10
Salute
super
to you,
chat.
my guy.
All right. All right, go ahead, Tony. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
man. I had to shout the money out.
But yeah, that we're getting back to that Brady Christensen thing. That is an example of Matt Rule and those guys messing up another situation because, like I said, he was a top-rated left tackle coming out of BYU, and the first thing that they talked about when they brought him in was moving him to guard and possibly getting him some experience because you can't have enough versatile pieces as far as on the offensive line. Some of that I agree
Mhm.
with. The more positions you can play, the better. But when you got a 3-year starter at left tackle, why not leave him at left tackle? It's
Right.
not like the guy was Swiss cheese when he was at BYU. He was a
Facts.
very highly productive talent that played at left tackle, and I think he should have just stayed there.
Hell, him and Icky can switch spots.
Hey, now.
Oh
Hey,
boy,
they
here
already
we
Here we
shut
go.
go.
that
Here we
down.
go. Here
Hey,
we go.
but hey, let me tell you, before free agency started, after the season was over, that was a big topic. Moving Icky in the
Don't
guard
let my
and
wife hear that.
testing Christensen out at left tackle. So now mind you, they already shut that down. They said Icky is going to be your left tackle. And now since we
Yeah,
got Hunt and we got Lewis, we brought in what's the man name? Nigel, I forgot his name,
yeah,
Yash.
Josh
And
Nyman,
he's going
Josh
to play
Nyman.
swing tackle. So is Christensen going to be a backup guard, or are they going to possibly try to make him swing tackle as well?
Doug, did you write that down? Josh Nyman? Not.
You know what? That's not look. That's not on my notes for the night. That's not on my notes for the night. I can't even get the paper up there.
The
Yeah, you
matrix, the matrix is glitching. The matrix is glitching.
Oh
That's
my
not on
goodness.
this note paper right here.
Yeah.
Oh
Let me
god.
see. Slideshow said, could BC be Moulton's replacement long term? I
Facts.
think about
Is
that.
it is because when you think about it, they came out and said that they want Bray Christian to play swing tackle, but you
Mm-hmm.
just signed a
Yeah.
guy out of Green Bay that played left and right tackle as well. So are
Yeah.
both of these gentlemen putting pressure on Taylor Moton and Ike Kwanu? And I know Kwan, my guy, gonna say Ike need all the pressure that he needs. Hopefully he gets beat out for the job. But I'm really hoping, just like I'm hoping Bryce Young shut all these haters up. Not saying Kwan's a hater. We've seen it where Ike just has wet the
Oh boy.
bed. But I'm just really hoping Ike can prove everybody wrong. Yes.
I feel you.
Sideshow.
I feel
Hey,
you.
hold on. Sideshow, yes. When we signed Cam
How,
Irvin, I was I'm talking about
how
every
dare you bring
time.
up that name in this
Yeah.
platform?
Yeah.
How
Yeah, we are
dare
supposed to
you?
Yeah,
That's
use
you
bringing
his
did
back,
that.
name.
bro. That brings back
Oh
nightmares.
my
That
God.
brings.
Look,
Oh, let me tell
he
you,
he not even talking. I want to put him on mute in the chat. I don't know how
hey,
you do
look,
that, but that's what I want to do.
hey, Matt Rule came in and was like, we need to fix the offensive line. He said, we signed Pat Eifline and Cam Irvin. You know what? You're welcome. Thank me later. And I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. There are a lot of there are a lot of signings over the years for the Panthers that I have just completely scratched my head on. But Cam Irvin made me want to punch through a wall.
Oh yeah.
Well, I have said time and time again, man, ever since Dan Morgan was hired, like we said, we don't want to get our hopes up too high, but still
Mm-hmm.
be optimistic. But things
Yeah.
are different, and the game is seen different from a
Mm-hmm.
former player standpoint, as someone that has worked in the office, Wall Street, or in the corporate world, or what have you. They see the game through a different lens. So when you
Mm-hmm.
talk about someone of Dan Morgan's pedigree and the type of player he was when he was with the Panthers, playing linebacker at the University of Miami, with the dogs that he played with, he know what a dog looks like. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I was just hoping that people would give him the benefit of doubt and let him do what he sees, what he has set forth for the Panthers, and just watch it starting to come together. And when you just look at some of these signings, or basically all these signings that we have signed thus far in free agency, we got some dogs. You know what I'm saying? We got
Yeah.
some high quality players, guys that can come in and contribute, guys, especially on defense that already knows the scheme. We'll
Mm-hmm.
talk more about that later. But I mean, the team is going to be developed in Dan Morgan's image, just
Yeah.
as San Francisco has created an image on defense in John Lynch image. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
Mm-hmm.
that's another gentleman that played the game at a high level, Hall of Fame level. Let me say that. And when you
Mm-hmm.
look at the defense, on the defense side of the ball, it kind of mirrors his personality.
Facts. Okay. Go
CJ, can
ahead.
I
Go ahead,
say this?
Doug.
And I know Quan
Go ahead.
hates it when I say this team. Carolina Panthers are modeling this retool just like the Detroit Lions did. You bring in
Mm-hmm.
people that can mentor your young people. You draft well, and you draft well for 3 years. I really
Uh-huh.
think this first draft is going to really show us how serious we can take Dan Morgan. Yes, Dan Morgan has been able
Facts.
to to
Facts.
to hit to hit on free agents, but like you said, we build through the draft. And again, you
Mm-hmm.
have two
Right.
premium picks sitting there on the burner, ready to flip, ready for us to draft. So let's see what he does. Because again, if he hits on this draft and these
Mm-hmm.
players come in either offense or defense and produce, I'm not sure. Well, I'll say this: I don't expect Everett to be here next year. That's an extra pick that you're going to get next year. And then just depending on the money that we have next year, yes, you
Mm-hmm.
got to sign
Not the
DD.
same year. Not the same year, Doug. I think that compensatory pick, if Evero moves on to become a head coach, I think he has to be in that position for 1 or 2 years
Two
before we
years.
receive a compensatory pick for that.
You
Yeah.
saw that, CJ, right? I'm glad he ain't see
Yeah.
that. I know you saw it. I know.
I saw
I
it.
know you saw.
What?
Nothing.
What, Eternal?
Uh. Uh.
Uh-uh.
But no. I honestly think we'll get it because again, he's been a D coordinator for 2 years. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll get that third round pick if he gets a head coaching job.
Hey, let me tell you, that defense goes out there and does what we feel like it's capable of doing. He is gone. He is out. So we'll be in the market for another defense coordinator next
Yeah,
year.
definitely.
But more power to him though.
Well. We got one on the roster. I mean, we got one in the coaching staff. Cooley
Mm-hmm.
just took it. Let me put this down. Cooley just got a promotion this offseason. Our DB coach just got a
Mm-hmm.
promotion. He's now, if I'm not mistaken, passing game coordinator.
Okay.
Oh,
So
I think I read that.
you got coaches on this staff that can
Mm-hmm.
step up and be a DC. Our outside linebackers coach was interviewed for the New England Patriots defensive coordinator job underneath Mayo. So you have
Mm-hmm.
coaches on this side of that ball that can come in and be a D coordinator if Evero does get the privilege of taking another job.
Okay. Well, hey, look, we'll see how it goes, but me personally, I
yeah.
think it's gonna be hard to keep him though. But
Oh
hopefully he
yeah,
can promote
Oh
from
yeah,
within, and
definitely.
we'll see where that go. Yep. All right, fellas. Now I want to slide on to another topic, and Dan Morgan and Dave Canales were down at the annual meetings, and they both did. Dan Morgan did like a Zoom presser, and then they had an interview with Dave Canales, and I wanted to get into a few things that I took out of that interview with Dan Morgan. He says he wants to build depth at every position. Talking with Derek Brown's agent, and I think Sheena Quick asked him about you know what was the status of Derek Brown's extension, and he said that he's in talks with his agent, and they don't have a timetable on it right now, but he feels that they can get it done. Okay. He said he holds Tommy Tremble in high regard, and he's also high on Ian Thomas and Stephon Sullivan. Now, you know how me and Tony feel about Ian Thomas, but hey, Dan Morgan, I believe it when I see it. So I don't know what they're going to do with Ian Thomas or. Go ahead,
You
Tony.
can't bet 1,000. You can't bet 1,000 forever. He gonna make a mistake somewhere. I think that was a mistake. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hey, go. I got you. All right. He said they asked him about not drafting, but signing so many of Everett's former players, and he said it wasn't intentional. He said it just worked out that way. Okay. And he also went on to say about how it's kind of an advantage because they come in, they know the offense. They know the defense, and they're versed in it already, so they can hit the ground running on day one. And like I said earlier, the learning curve is not as steep for them as it would be for other players. Okay. He was also asked his expectations of Bryce Young this season. He said he just wants him to be himself, and he iterated that he can't do it by himself. Like they say, he is one of 11 on offense. All right, so he needs help. They brought him some help, brought him some help on the offensive line, traded for a wide receiver. More than likely, we take one in the draft, and we'll see how this offense go. J.C. Horn's fifth-year option, no decision yet, and he's also very high on him. I'm gonna come back to that one in a second. All right. He also said he wants to dominate on both sides of the ball, and I think you can see that with some of the guards that we've signed. We also picked up Ashawn Robinson, who is a beast on defense, and now even with Jadeveon Clowney, he comes in and he was, I will give Burns the edge as far as a pass rusher, but Clowney is a better run stopper than Burns is. Okay. So I do believe we'll be a better run defense team in this upcoming season. All right. And hold on, Tony. Let me take that comment down for 1 second. Okay. He said he wants to build the right way and build through the draft. And he also said that the best player available will more than likely be their draft philosophy. Okay. And I think that's really, really going to come to fruition now, especially with Clowney. Okay. And then, like I said earlier, if we were to get Gilmore, we're really looking at, all right, who's the number one player on our board? Let's go and get him. So, fellas, any thoughts about what Dan Morgan said?
Go ahead, Doug. Go ahead.
Quan, you want to pop it off?
I mean, hey, like I said earlier, man, Dan Morgan is cooking. First of all, I owe Dan Morgan an apology because I was definitely one of those few doubters with Dan Morgan. I was thinking, like, you know what? Well, he was in the building with Scott Fitterer, so why keep the same guy in here? You know what I'm saying? I thought we was cleaning house. But Dan Morgan let us know early on, man, he's definitely his own person. He got his own style and how he run things. And he's been doing a great job, man. So shout out to Dan Morgan. But I love the fact that we are not only focusing on just big names in the free agency. Of course, the fans want all the sexy signings and stuff. But Dan Morgan actually has a plan, which is a relief to say as a Panthers fan, because throughout these years with the Matt Rule era and the Frank Wright era, it just seemed like these guys were just going in here and just speaking gibberish to the media, and it just sounded like we had no direction. But Dan Morgan showing us this offseason, like, okay, it's not always going to be just, the top picks. We're signing depth pieces as well. So I love what we're doing overall. Like, not only are we, just plugging in the holes for offense, but it's both sides of the ball. And even, matter of fact, all three phases of the ball, because even with special teams, you're bringing in guys who can contribute right away with that area. So, I mean, yeah, man, and kind of going to the point where he says, well, hold on. Let me see which one of his points. He said, "I just want him to be himself." Bryce Young, and he said he can't do it himself, and that's really going to be the key moving forward. Not only on offense but on defense, this team is going to move as a unit. It's not going to be just one star taking over. It's really going to be football as a committee, which how it should be, especially offensively, being able to spread the ball and not just drop back 60 times a game. That's going to be important, which is why you bring in guys like Deontay Johnson who can create separation, and then you got more options on the table that can free up guys like Adam Thielen and whoever else they bring in. So I don't know. I just really like Dan Morgan's philosophy. I mean, everything he says to the media, it makes sense. I'm not over here scratching my head every time he talks. So I like what he's doing, man. I really do.
Okay. Hey, and real quick, Chaos Gaming, you say Burns is better than Clowney, but if you go by PFF score, Clowney has a better last 5 years. I was just giving him the edge rushing. Okay. I'm sorry. I said edge rushing. My bad, y'all. Pass rushing. Okay. That was the edge I was giving, and I said Clowney is the better run stopper. Okay. I'm not going to get into that debate of who's better overall. Burns is
Yeah, we
gone,
moving on.
and I'm just happy that we did get Clowney. And also, Mr.
How
Hunky
much you gonna
Dory
read
with
it?
$5 super chat. He said free agent helped us a lot this year. We can't get in what we can't get in this year's draft. We can get in free agency or draft next, thanks to this year's free agency foundation building. And that's a fact. And Dan Morgan also said, he wants to preach patience to everybody. He said out of his mouth, he said this is a rebuild and it's going to take a few years. But like Quan said, the way he's starting out, it's kind of a breath of fresh air for Panther fans. I think it is anyway. And like when he's adding pieces, he's adding depth pieces that are actual depth pieces that can come in and compete, not just people just to fill a space on the roster. Because some people you sign, you just like, who? And then somebody gets hurt, and then they say, "Oh, well, so and so's taking the spot," and you're like, "Well, where in the hell did they come from?"
Right.
You get what I'm saying? It just
Right.
seems like like Quan said, there's more thought going into it this year, and I really like that. But go ahead, y'all. I'm sorry.
Also, going back to another point that he brought up with Tommy Tremble and Sullivan, a lot of people, I listen to a lot of different podcasts, man. Shout out to all the Panther content creators, man. You guys are awesome. But
Oh yeah,
I listen to a lot of different podcasts, and it's very rare to come across people who are high on Tommy Tremble, and I feel like he's written off. Like I don't know, man. With Tommy Tremble, I think he definitely, if he's utilized properly, I think he could easily be like a 500-yard tight end, maybe a 50-40 reception kind of tight end. But I think guys have really given up on him because they want to go ahead and get a tight end in the draft, which, what I'm saying, that I'm definitely all for it, but I also feel like Tommy Tremble is still, he's still here, what I mean? And then Sullivan showed us flashes here and there last year that he's also a good reception tight end. I mean, obviously, none of us were really happy with Ian Thomas, but the thing with Ian Thomas, the reason why he keeps sneaking on this roster, because he's so well at blocking. I mean, having a blocking tight
He
end
knows
is
somebody working
definitely,
in NSA.
Say what?
Somebody they got tape on somebody. I'm convinced.
They out here
I'm a
blackmailing people,
conspiracy
man.
theorist, and I go down that hole all day. I'm just convinced. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But yeah, with Ian Thomas, man, just having him on the roster as well, somebody who's been in the building for all these years. I think that's still, it's still helpful in the tight end room. But yeah, man, I don't know. I think I love hearing the fact that he, he's high on Tommy Tremble and high on Sullivan, because we definitely need to focus on what we have here. And Canales also said that in his interviews. He wants to utilize the strengths that we have, and that's something that Frank Wright definitely didn't do. He didn't use our players' strengths. He just wanted to do it his way. And that's something different that we're seeing now. Like, okay, let's see what we got in this room, and let's actually use these players' strengths. Let's let them be themselves. And we let's get back to the philosophy of playing football, defense, creating turnovers, and offense, controlling the tempo. So yeah, I think they're cooking, man. Dan Morgan and Canales, they're definitely a great duo so far.
Hey, shout out to Eternal 252 with another $2 super chat. He said, "I want to see who's going to be the third quarterback." Hey, and we'll get into that in a second here when we get over to this next slide. And Quan, I wanted to also piggyback on what you said about the content creators, and I forgot he was in here. But shout out to Unc, who was in the chat earlier, had his comment on the screen. If y'all not subscribed to his channel, go subscribe to Unc 2020. It's always a good time over there, y'all. So y'all make sure. I don't know if he's still here or not, but if he is, shout out to you, Unc. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention you. Yeah. So yeah, if you still here, Unc, man, shout out to you. I meant to mention you earlier, but I forgot. But
shout out to Unc, man.
yeah,
yes, sir.
Tony. Tony,
Yeah.
you got any
Tony,
thoughts
did you
on
want
this?
to go? Did you want to go, or it was me?
Yeah. I see Chaos Gaming was asking about was Stephon Sullivan with Dave Canales in Seattle. Yes, he
Mm-hmm.
would. Um, as far as you know, all the things that Dan Morgan said, as far as wanting to build depth at every position, and that I think that is you got to have that. You got to create competition because competition brings out the best in everybody. You know what I'm saying? When you know that there's somebody behind you that can eventually take your spot, you're going to work a little harder. You know what I'm saying? You're
Mm-hmm.
going to pay more attention. You're going to study film a little better. So every aspect of your game will get better over time. Um
Back.
Dominating both sides of the ball. Y'all know me. I'm all about the trenches. I'm all about working inside, out. So I think it starts up front. So when you can dominate it, my thing was always this with the offensive line, you want to hold the point of attack. For the defensive line, you always want to push the point of attack 1 or 2 yards backwards. So that's how you win in the trenches. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when we can consistently do that, that makes everything else better. You know what I mean? Football is the ultimate team sport, so you got to have all 11 pieces, you know, coming together each and every play to make things work. So that's why they always say, be that one of 11. Be that one of 11. Do your part. Do what you're supposed to do. Be in the right gap. Make the right blocks. Make the right reads as a quarterback. It's so many different variables that go into it. But I'm not gonna, go into. But I like everything that Dan Morgan says. But I've been paying attention more on what Dan Morgan is doing. And if you just look at this picture, that looks like somebody that has played the game and he tired of the BS and it's time to get it right. That's
Hey,
what I take from it.
what Jay-Z say? I'm focused, man.
Yeah,
Hey, he
yeah,
locked in,
so,
dog.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead,
Tony,
CJ.
you done? Oh, I would
Oh,
say
go ahead,
this.
Doug. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you good. You can say you say you can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? That was the saying my parents told me. And whenever
Mm-hmm.
you look at Dan Morgan, one thing that we were happy, well, I was happy, was he was a former Panther. He won when he was a Panther, and he's excelled at everything he's done in the front office part, all the way back in his Seattle days, being in Buffalo, and now being a GM of the Carolina Panthers. When he was that guy, and he actually had some type of control or say so, he excelled at his job. And one thing that he said in his introductory press conference, I want to make the Carolinas relevant like it's 2003 again. And I was like, why not 2015? And if you look at it, that 03 team was slept on,
They
but like
weren't
when
supposed
he
to be
wants to
there.
distinct, they want Quan. That's the point that I'm getting at. And if you look at that team, they were all dogs on that team. Yes, I understand you had the Cam Newton in 15, where we mostly know the last time we were in the Super Bowl, but we were supposed to be there because we were the best team in the NFC. If you look at it in 03, we fought and clawed our way to the Super Bowl. And Dan Morgan, where we said again at the beginning, Dan Morgan and Dave Canales have a chemistry that you want in your front office, just like Shanahan and John Lynch have. Just like Dan Campbell, who's the GM in Detroit, if you guys know. I know his face, I can't think of his name.
I think I know his face too. I can't think his name either.
I can't think of his name, but
Yeah, I can't think of his name.
what I'm doing is making connections. Again, when your front office is one accord with your head coach, that's relationship that's going to help. And they alluded to how I think they were three to four doors down from each other when they were in Seattle, and they built a relationship then on who knows. They possibly said later down the road we may be at this point again. We don't know that conversation, but they're alluding to their earlier days in Seattle when they were three or four doors away from each other, and now look what they're able to build in the Carolinas right now. Me personally, I believed in Dan Morgan, but I didn't know where the money was going to come from. But whenever I broke it down, I looked at how things were going to come. I kept telling people the money's there. The money's there. It just depends on what Dan Morgan wants to do with the money. And if you look at every piece that he's brought in, even via trade, they're going to make some type of impact on this roster going into next year. Starting out with the two guards that we got. You bring in Deontay Johnson, that is a yak and a separating god in the wide receiver room. You bring in one of Tony's main guys, a big ugly, a big hog molly in the middle with Williams. Then you bring in Chase, and then you bring in what's that man name? I need to look at my notes. What's that man name?
Hey, Brad Holmes is the GM, I believe. Somebody said Brad Holmes.
Brad Holmes. You bring in DJ Waddle, and then even the Fuller guy. I'll say Fuller is one of the players I think a lot of people are not talking about that I like. Fuller is definitely a player that I think is gonna set that safety position and surprise a lot of people. He had great years underneath Evero, and I can't wait to see what he does. But I'm almost eager to want to jump out my skin like I was last year, but I can't because I'm going to stay calm. I'm going to stay optimistic. But Dan Morgan, for a first-year GM that had a lot of question marks behind him, people thought he was Scott Fitter 2.0. He's been knocking out the park with every move that he's made. Every move.
Yeah. Hey, shout out to the Rockstar Report. How you doing, Clay, man? Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you.
What's going on, Clay? Shout out.
Another content creator, y'all. If y'all have not checked out his channel, go over there, check him out, like and subscribe. All right. So that all. Let me see. Did everybody get their opinions on this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hey, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. I got a little lost for a second looking for that damn dabbing emoji in the emojis on YouTube. I swear I did. I ain't gonna lie. I was sitting there searching for a good 5 minutes. But all right. But let's
hey, before we move on, hey, don't forget we got 111 viewers and only 59 likes. So do us a favor, smash that like button, man. Only gonna take about 8.5 seconds of your time. Go ahead and subscribe, turn those post notification bells so you know when we go live and drop new content. That's also going to help us out with the YouTube algorithm so our content can be seen more. So go ahead and hit that like button. We'll greatly appreciate it, man.
Hey, Tony. So is it because everybody's a little later now, they're getting sleepy? You gave them an extra second? Because earlier it was 7.5, now it was 8.5.
Yeah. I'm trying to work with him. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to work with him. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Hey, let me say, if this is y'all first time on this channel,
we're gonna give it 10 before we leave.
Yeah. Hey, look, if this is your first time on this channel, let me tell you, I try not to let too many things slide. You know, I'll forget what I did yesterday, but I damn sure won't forget what none of these guys said 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. And I want to apologize too because we have
viewers on you apologizing to me?
No, we have viewers on Twix, and I accidentally deleted the live viewing on Twix. So hopefully those guys will switch over and follow us on YouTube as well. So that's my fault. I apologize for that.
Yeah, hey Tony, can I hit the damn like button?
Hey Tony, can I get an apologize? Can I get an apology?
For what?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something else. I thought you was gonna say something. Now, CJ, you saw that. CJ, you saw that, right? You saw what he just did. He called himself.
Hey, you have a better chance trying to squeeze Diet Coke out of a potato, bro. Let's just go ahead.
CJ, did you see what he just did?
Oh my God.
He called himself.
Not.
I heard you.
I did not.
I see how it is, Tom. You know I'm gonna get you behind the scenes. I saw that.
That was a good try. That was a good try. You almost had me.
Exactly. All right, let's move on. Yeah. All right, Dave Canales. Okay, and they did an interview with him as well. Okay, and there was a few things that I brought up. And he said they were going to focus on running plays that their guys could block for. Okay, so he was talking about not getting He said didn't want to be stubborn about a certain system. Okay, so
Right.
plays that work for your players that you have. All right. And I'm not going to say that that was a shot at Frank Wright, but I think that was just an honest evaluation of what was going on last year. They were trying to fit players into this system, and the players did not fit into the system and what they were trying to do. Dave Canales has come in, and from what I'm getting from what he's saying is he is going to take like a one-on-one look at everybody, see what they do well, what they don't do well, and what they do well, he's going to try to capitalize it. If this play works, well, you
Right.
know what? Let's go ahead and write that down, write the situation, write the score down, what was going on, and if it comes back up, you know what? Let's fall back on that play. Okay. And he said he feels like he has a
Cool.
great system that's flexible. Go ahead, Tony.
No, I don't say just read the money real quick.
Oh,
Chaos
Chaos
Gaming with
Gaming.
the $5 super chat with the super sticker. We appreciate it, my
Jack.
boy. Yeah,
There
I
you go,
messed it
Doug. I
up.
got him back for it. He said Super Jack instead of Super Chat.
I heard him. I heard him. Look, I
Yeah.
ain't gonna say nothing because
Y'all,
he already
hey,
firing at the gun. He got his finger on the gun and ready to shoot it. So I
listen,
ain't gonna say
y'all
nothing.
go ahead and get y'all go ahead and get y'all rocks off because y'all already know the mistakes y'all be making. But I digress. Y'all go
Oh,
ahead.
hey,
Y'all
you
Look,
go
got me.
I
ahead.
got notes
Hey,
tonight. You ain't gonna get me tonight. I got notes tonight.
hey, appreciate your Chaos Game, man. Once again, we appreciate you. Hey, look, seriously, I just squeezed Diet Coke out of potato. Oh my God, and got Fanta. Lord have mercy. Okay. All right. So get back to Dave Canales here. Okay, so he said he feel like he has a great system that's flexible, and he was talking about his time in Tampa when he was saying that he had certain plays for certain players. Okay, he said he had certain plays for Rashad White that he ran, and then certain plays for the other players on the offense as well. And that's one thing I liked about what he said too. Again, going back to being flexible and not being stubborn and trying to make people do things that's obviously, not working. All right. He
Right.
said he feels confident about the current outside linebacker edge players on the roster. And this was before we signed Jadeveon Clowney. And so he mentioned DJ Johnson, he mentioned Amari Barno, DJ Woonham, and he also mentioned what's a man named Eku Leota as well. So he said he really liked, what we already had as far as outside linebacker and edge. And I mean, I give it to him. He's the head coach. He's not going to bash the players in front of the media. But as us just looking in, we know where we sat at the position, and we know it need to be upgraded. And we did that today. Okay. He also said that DJ Woonham will definitely miss OTAs, but he is not sure about his status for training camp. Okay. And Eternal in the chat, this is the point that you brought up earlier about the third quarterback. He says he wants a QB3 with playing experience. Okay. He said that he wants a QB room where everybody has valuable input, whether it's Bryce, Andy, or whoever they bring in for QB3. He wants that if they bring up film and they see a certain situation, it's not necessarily they start with Bryce and like, Bryce, what did you see? He might go to whoever the QB3 is and say, hey, tell me about this play. And try to take advantage of the insights and the things that particular player has gone through before. And he said it would just help make the entire QB room better. I think that's the approach that he took in
Right.
Tampa and in Seattle. And and this one kind of got me. Now, this last one, they asked him, did you think the team would be competitive and may challenge for the NFC title? And without a flinch, he said yes. He said he believes they will be competitive for the division this year. So, I like his confidence. I
Yeah,
like his
there's
confidence.
nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't say that we would win the division or
Mm-hmm.
he wants to feel a competitive team. Like he wants to be in every game. Whether we win or lose, we want to put a competitive product out on the fields, out on the field that fans can be proud of. And like we said, I hope nobody has realistic expectations of thinking that we're gonna win the NFC South championship. Now it would be nice if it happens, but let's
Mm-hmm.
crawl before we walk. What let me say for me, what I really wanted to see is the progression of Bryce Young from year 2 as opposed to year 1, and that we look competent and competitive on both sides of the ball each and every game. That's what I'm
Mhm.
hoping to see.
Yeah. Doug, Quan. Yeah.
Quan,
Go
you want
ahead.
to go in it? Okay.
Go ahead, Doug.
Dave Canales has won me over. Won me over. If you go back on my channel, I was giving out Atlanta's head coach name. I was giving out Ben Johnson's name. It was so many names that I was like, Dave Canales. But the more and more this man talks, he practices what he preaches, and he means what he says. He stands on his word, and it's not you have to fish around and scratch your head and be like, "Hold on, what did you just say?" And I think we have the right coach. And I know a lot of people are not going to like what I'm about to say. Bryce Young is not going anywhere. And I'll say it again. Bryce Young is not going anywhere. This man that's in this picture right here believes in this quarterback that we have, and he knows that he needed help. And one thing that I love that Dave Canales even alluded to as well is Bryce's arm is not the problem, it's his footwork. And again, I think I said this to Tony behind the scenes. If you know the one thing that quarterbacks have to have is great footwork. And one thing that Bryce's game looked bad in was footwork last year. And
Right.
he wants Bryce to make the haters eat their words. He's not going to say it like that, but you can tell it eats him up when they have the Bryce questions. Like Bryce is not saying a bust, but you have issues with Bryce. Bryce is this, Bryce is that. And what they did is when you have shorter quarterbacks, they did exactly what they needed to do: protect your quarterback. Most of your sacks are coming from the middle of the line. And when you bring in two premium guards in Damian Lewis and you bring in Robert Hunt, Bryce Young shouldn't have any problems with that middle of the line. Yes, I know we still do have Austin Corbett with a question mark, but this line is very solidified. And I think in this system, now I just need to see everything on paper. Everything's on paper. Now I need to see it on the field. Like CJ opened up. We know preseason we had 3 plays and we was like, oh, this is not looking good. And I'm ready to see how this practice goes in Charlotte. I can't wait to see who we bring in for joint practices. But I'm all in on Dave Canales and Dan. And again, you have 2 men that want to prove and be their own and build their own brand. That's one thing that Dave Canales said. He wants to build a brand here in Carolina. We know Keep Pounding is the brand. He doesn't want to get away from that, but they want to build something here. And they're doing a phenomenal job in the first year. And the first year hasn't even really started. First year starts next week. Players will be back in the building next week. And I can't wait to see what's going on.
Yeah. Hey, I just want real quick. I just want to say T. Thompson. He said, I always type all caps. Hey, say it with your chest, T. Thompson. Say it with your chest, my boy. He
That
said, I
was so
always
funny.
type all caps. He said, all gas, no brekes, damn it.
Stop yelling at people in the
Somebody
chat, man.
somebody said, what all caps, man?
Hey, I was over here rolling, reading through the chat while Doug was talking.
Oh
my goodness,
God.
Tony. Oh, you already spoke. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead, Quan.
Yeah.
Quan.
So I mean, man, look, I've been saying this all off season, and I'm gonna continue to say it going into the next season. I refuse to get my hopes up. I refuse, but I've been doing a lot of studying on Dave Canales, like watching just film on Bucks from last year, especially like in the playoffs. And I've been watching all his interviews and press conferences, and he's making it very hard for me to not get excited. But everything he says to the media, again, this is another guy that it makes sense. Everything he says, I'm not over here scratching my head or raising my eyebrows. He's actually making sense, and he's not giving away too much. But everything he's saying to the media is also on display. If you go back and look at the film, I said this earlier, he wants to distribute the ball. One of the pointers right there says he wants to have a great system that's flexible, and he wants to have certain plays for certain players. It's not going to all just be on the shoulders of Bryce Young. It's not going to be on the shoulders of Shuba Hubbard. It's not going to be on the shoulders of Deontay Johnson or Adam Thielen. it's going to be, an offense by committee. Everybody is going to touch the ball at some point. Some games you might have, maybe under 200 pass yards, but you might go over 150 in the run game, or vice versa. So you're never gonna see the same game plan with Dave Canales. Again, he's trying to contribute the ball, he's trying to throw out defenses, and he's using what's given to him. You know what I mean? So I really like his philosophy. I like everything about Dave Canales, and again, he makes it hard for me to not get my hopes up, man.
Hey, CJ, can I say this? I seen somebody say in the chat they report on May the 1st. What I'm saying is everybody's able to come back in the building next week because we hired a new head coach again. So no, we're not saying like OTAs. They're able to interact with their players now. Starting on April 1st, they're able to come in. I don't know if that means grab a playbook or what, but I definitely know they're able.
They can start working out, lifting weights and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
hey, facts, FPFO, man, that's same, bro. Like I had my hopes up last year, and that's why I'm kind of traumatized now. I'm just waiting to see. Last year, I was me and Doug every day we was talking. You know what I'm saying?
Let me do the game.
Me and Doug was talking about it, man. We was, we was texting, oh snap, okay, we got Miles Sanders in the building. Okay, we got Adam Thielen. We about to be cooking this year. You know what I'm saying? We got DJ Chark. We gonna take the top off. Yeah, we about to be all right.
We guilty too.
Playoffs.
Hey, let me give y'all a quick story. It was at the NOLA game. That was my first game. I seen Quan during training camp. This is our first game together. And this man, Quan, got so mad. He got up and start booing. He started booing. It was some Saints fans around there like, you got all right? Quan was going on it. When I say a tantrum, he was going off. He was going off. And I'm like, Quan, they can't hear you. He was like, nah, they need to hear me. So then Frank made me mad. Oh man, I went worse than Quan. I start saying Frank Wright need to be fired week 2. And Quan was like, duh, no. I was like, no. Like I know football, and this is not football right now. And he needs to be fired.
Early,
man, I wanted Frank Wright gone. And when we got in the car, Quan was like, Doug, I'm gonna turn on the press conference. And the first thing this man said is, I'm not going to blame myself. I blame the players. I said, I'm done.
Ooh.
I said, I'm
done.
Hey,
look at the comment, y'all. Look at the comment. Look at Corey Johnson. What did he say? He said, we got the team who avenged us last season. Hey, shout out to everybody in the chat. Let me tell you, when I say y'all made this episode very entertaining and also hard for me to focus because I'm reading and laughing at everything y'all say, but I appreciate every last damn one of y'all. I really do. Really do.
We appreciate you, man. Y'all put out some
yes, sir. Man. Great content.
Hey,
appreciate
guys. But hold on, but you mean mild mannered rich homie Uncle Quan?
He surprised me. Like he surprised, like he was going off. I'm like, hold on, I'm like Quan. Like he was going off.
Look, if y'all kind of like dig on my channel, like before my channel like hit, became monetized. If y'all go to those little vlogs, man, it's a whole different person when I go to the games, man. I get to cussing and screaming. I get to raging, man. It's bad, man.
So it's a good thing we met you at Fan Fest this past year. Yeah. So it wasn't a whole lot going on then. We didn't get to see the real Quan.
Yeah, y'all probably would have saw me. Wow.
I would say
this, jersey, man.
Quan got me during the Houston. If you go to his vlog, I think Quan. I didn't know Quan was recording, and I was doing a chant "Fire Frank" right then. And Quan was like, I got you on tape, Doug. And I just paused. I was like, was it bad? I was like, was it bad? He was like, it ain't too bad, but they gonna hear you like I was talking bad to Frank. Like, oh, that's just PTSD last year. It was so bad.
Yeah, man.
So bad, man.
Look at Dylan, the whole fan base.
Yeah.
See? That's what I just said.
The whole fan base,
man. Hey, can I say this to T. Thompson? TJ Tampa. I did film on him this morning. He is a corner that I like, but I also like the Kaysen got home. Make sure. Let me get my notes, Tony. His name is Kaylon Carson out of Wake Forest. Okay. So my top 3 corners, T. Thompson, is TJ Tampa, and Kalen Carson. And again, I did a film breakdown on them this morning. Both of them can help that room. Only thing with Carson is injury prone. But TJ Tampa is very long, very instinctive, and he mirrors very well what a wide receiver does. And we need that. I like long corners. I really do like long corners. And if you're able to press in the beginning of the route, I love that because you bounce them off. So again, to T. Thompson, if you have not checked it out, head over to What's Up, Doug, after we get done with this live, and you'll see where we break it down. We break down DNs, linebackers, and corners over at the channel, man. So definitely check that out.
Oh yeah, y'all make sure y'all do that. Make sure y'all do that.
Mac Milton is a dog too, Antonio Slee. That's Max Milton is that boy.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Hey, Dylan, I was thinking the same thing. I was listening on the I was listening earlier, and they was talking about Carson. He kind of sees himself like J.C. Horn, and they also say he does have injury history. And I thought the same thing. I was just like, nah, like no more injury prone corners.
Talking about Kalen Carson? Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Hey, Chaos Gaming, it's What's Up, Doug. It's my channel. Like I said, this is Two Fans in the Stands, but if you click my name, you should be able to go ahead and head over there and watch the video. We did an offense and defense, but we definitely got something in store for you guys. Two Fans in the Stands, Uncle Quan, and myself got something in store for y'all next month, man. Got something in store for y'all next month.
Oh yeah, we were talking about it earlier. Got an interesting name for it. I think the masses will like it. So look forward to that. Yep. All right. Okay, so gentlemen, another thing that happened this week is there were a lot of rule changes, okay, and updates to the rules. All right. So I think the biggest one that everybody goes there, you're right, can't predict injuries, you never know. That is a fact. That is a fact. But when you get into some of the rule changes, hold on, Dylan. He said he studied J.C. Horn's tape because it's the
I laughed at that.
Wow,
y'all ain't about to do that. Y'all not about to do that, man. Y'all not about to do that.
Dylan, don't make me call JJ, dog. All right, don't make me call JJ.
Hey, Dylan cutting up, man. Dylan cutting up, dog.
Dylan cutting up that, man.
He said those are not gonna start for custom players. I hear you, Quan. I hear you. But all right, but let's slide on over to the rule changes. All right. So the biggest thing to come out of rule changes is the hip drop tackle. If I'm saying that right. Yeah. So now it is a foul for a player who uses the following technique to bring a runner to the ground: grabs the runner with both hands or wraps the runner with both arms and unweights himself by swiveling and dropping his hips and or lower body, landing on and trapping the runner's legs at or below the knee. And I want to get everybody's thoughts on this because as you see in this picture, you got Mark Andrews being tackled like this. And I think this was the play that took him out for a while.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah. And me personally, I get what the NFL is doing. There's been a lot of backlash of this. Who was it? JJ Watt came out and was like, hey, let's just go ahead and put the flag around the belt and go out and play, eluding the flag football. But they said that you can still grab somebody around the waist, but you just can't. They said it's almost like a rugby style tackle in a sense. You can't twist and you can't drop your full weight, especially landing on the back of players, legs and ankles and stuff like that, because it has caused a lot of injuries since they've started doing it. But what do you guys think?
I'm gonna let Quan go first. I know how Quan.
Hey,
let Quan go
real
first.
Real quick, hold on.
Go ahead,
Mr. Hunky Dory with another $2 super chat. He said you need a live podcast draft party. Bets on selects. Oh yeah. We going live. I'm still trying to figure out if I'm gonna get that draft hat that they got this year, because I like it and then I hate it all at the same time. So, but yeah, we definitely gonna go live for the draft. I'm serious. I like that hat and I hate it all at the same time. Come on now. You seen something you like. I could rock that. Yeah.
Now the
I
other one,
don't know.
the other one with the split, I didn't like. I didn't like where it had the South Carolina and the North Carolina flag. I hated that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that shit
that
was
that was
corny.
that was a major L right there. Major L.
Yeah.
All right. But I'm sorry, but fellas, go ahead. Give me y'all thoughts. Quan, I think he was going first.
I
Man,
want Quan because I know he about to go in.
I mean, for the sake of for the
See,
sake
he
of
about to go in.
I'm
He
gonna
about to
keep
go.
it. I'm gonna keep it as PG-13 as I can, man. But this
Say it
rule,
with your chest. Say it with your chest, Quan.
this rule is some bullshit, man. First of all, like how can you really have a defensive player process all of this in like 0.2 seconds? You know what I mean? This is literally it's
Good
gravity,
point.
man. Like you're literally making a tackle. I get it, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to protect the players, but this is football. You at the end of the day, everybody know the risks behind football. They know what they're signing up for. That's why you're getting millions of dollars. So
Mm-hmm.
taking away this tackle, it makes it harder for defenses and it's going to put more stress on it. And I mean, I know the real reason behind this, man. Like obviously NFL, they see their scores and stuff are dropping in the last 2 years. They see their ratings are falling a little bit. So of course they want the offense to score more points. And what better way than to put a bullshit tackle rule in the rule book? So I don't like this at all, man. It's not even 1 inch of me that likes this. I mean, I understand it for player safety, but at the same time, bro, this league has been around for 100 something years, man. So why now? Why now?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
And
it, again, it's just it puts more stress on the defense to have to go through this type of thing. Because like now, how do you tackle players like Josh Allen or Derrick Henry or something? Like, how do you go about doing that when you can't do a basic hip tackle? You know what I mean? So I don't like it at all, man. I
yeah.
really don't.
Look what Sid said. He said some of those tackles are not controllable, it's gravity. And I was thinking about this earlier, and I was like,
Right.
so what if your defender, is chasing somebody down and they grab them, around the hips. Mind you, they don't twist, they don't, do all that, but just say they still end up landing on the other player's feet or the bottom of their legs or whatever. Go ahead, Tony.
What let me say this for Doug gets into his in the term of review. Um that can happen. You know what I'm saying? Like so when you're talking about tackling somebody around the waist, grabbing them around the waist, there's a difference of tackling somebody and saying that you're already on the ground. Some parts of your body some is already on the ground as you attempting to make this tackle, as opposed to dropping 225 to 300 pounds on somebody's knee or ankles. Now you're talking about taking a player out for the season, possibly ending their career or missing multiple games. So this is where I push back on Quan a little bit. When we always playing Pop Warner football,
Mm-hmm.
we were always taught the proper way to tackle. Keep your head up high, get your head across, get your head across, things like that. Bring your hips, make a solid tackle. Now, every play is not going to end in a solid tackle like that. But throughout the years, have you ever seen or do you ever know of a time where some coach has taught you how to tackle by leaving your feet? Have you ever been coached by a coach that taught somebody how to lead with the crown their helmet? I'll say no and no, but you see players do it. So at the same time, it's not so much about well, now we can't tackle because they got this rule and this and that. No, you can tackle. You can tackle. So it's like on one instance, we talk about player safety and we want to see the things that happened to DeMar Hamlin not happen to DeMar Hamlin again. But then when the NFL takes a stance and try to do something, in my opinion, that's positive for the game, that keeps players available so players don't be missing or having season ending injuries. Now people have a problem with it. And I don't, because this tackle right here, if you just see this right here with Mark Andrews, a lot of times in the past few years, this swinging hip tackle, swivel, whatever you want to call it, that is a tackle that 9 times out of 10 you see in every single game. Is it coached
Mhm.
in Pop Warner, junior high, high school, the collegiate level, or even the pro level? No, but players are doing it. Some way, somehow, they think that's advantage. Some way, somehow, they think if I could just swing my hips around and get all my weight and drop my weight as this man is trying to make a football move, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get a broken ankle, you're gonna get Achilles injury, you can twist somebody's knee. Now you're talking about the ACL. So we can't talk about protect players and we want to see players be available. Then at the same time, when the NFL does something about that, now we have a problem with that too. So it's like, in my opinion, it's like pick a struggle. You either want one thing or you want the other. To me, you can't really straddle the fence on it. That's just my take.
Okay. Duh.
Quick, short, and easy for me on this one. We're gonna end up hurting more defensive players by putting parameters and putting rules on them where they're not able to do their job on the defense. Point blank. I mean,
Okay.
just look at the quarterback. Look at the quarterback rules that we have on it now. You can't hit the quarterback. You have to stop and almost. Don't lean in the crown of your helmet. Most of these rules are hurting the defensive players, and most defensive players are going to get hurt because of the rules where they don't want to cost their team.
Okay. Gotcha.
Mm.
Paul man, seeing hey, welcome man. How you doing? It's a great sign. Much for kind. 2 years, $20 million with the max potential of $24 million with incentives. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see. Going to the next slide here. We also have a new kickoff rule. Okay. So I think the XFL did something like this, kind of like a hybrid kickoff rule, where you're going to have 10 of the kicking team players set up at the 40-yard line, and then you're going to have at least 9 players of the receiving team set up at the 35. Okay, and you can have up to 2 people back there returning. All right, so there's a landing zone. The ball has to go past the 20-yard line. Okay. And when the ball is fielded, the let me see. The players that are lined up for the kicking team and the receiving team, they cannot move until the ball, I think the ball either hits the ground or is received by the player. Okay.
Within that landing
So
zone, correct.
yeah, and if you look at the bottom of this picture here where it says out of bounds spot, if for some reason that ball goes out of bounds, that's where the receiving team will get the ball. And on the other side, it says 25 yards from spot of kick. If the ball goes out of bounds, I believe. Now, if the ball runs into I'm sorry, not runs, but rolls into the end
Kicked
zone.
into the end zone. Yeah.
It rolls into the end zone. The ball is spotted at the 35-yard line, if I'm not mistaken. I got my notes up here somewhere, but I ain't got them on a piece of paper like Doug. So I think I got them on my on Google Docs. Sorry, Doug. I'm sorry.
I'm
But
not. I'm laughing. I'm laughing at Dylan. I'm laughing at Dylan talking about Tony. You good?
what do you say? Oh my God. You know what? Lord have mercy. Okay. But basically, I
Good luck
think
with that.
doing this, I think they're doing this to try and make the kickoffs a little bit more exciting. Okay, but like I said, nobody can move until the returner catches the ball
This
or
is
the
the ball.
ball hits the ground, and it has to go past the 20-yard line. Has to go past the 20-yard line. If the ball is caught in the end zone for a touchback, it comes out to the 30, if I'm not mistaken. And then if it rolls in the end zone, it comes out to the 35. All right.
35.
I might be wrong on that. Y'all let me know. But what are y'all takes on this? I think it's kind of interesting. I think it changes up a little bit.
I love it because you got 2 people that I see the chat, so I'm not gonna say I didn't see it. You got 3 people. You got Tariq Cohen, you got Blackshear, and you got ISM. I know I've been
Raheem
to
Blackshear.
3 games in Blackshear. That Houston Texans game. If he had a crease, one more blocker, we would have witnessed that man doing a kick return in person. I know Quan and I were at that Houston game, and he only needs blockers. And I'm glad we brought back one of our knucklehead special teamers and Sam Franklin back, which I think this rule is going to help him a lot. It's going to help him a lot, and I think with us having one of the top 5 special teams coaches on this coaching staff is going to help as well. And again, it's going to be all about strategy. But again, if you look at it, Blackshear and ISM only need one hole to get through, and they're gone. We saw what ISM was able to do on a punt return. I actually like it, and I think you have to be very strategic with the kicks because it was just getting boring to see kickers kick the ball in the stands or kick it through the upright. Actually make them work for field position. And this is where it's going to get very, very interesting for special team coaches to scheme things up with your kicker. Which direction are you going to kick it? How are you going to go about it? So, again, I'm looking forward to this rule. I like it. If people don't really understand what CJ was describing, this weekend, the XFL starts this weekend. Turn the games on. You'll see exactly how they have to go on with the kickoff. And then you know, evaluate it for yourself and see it in living color.
Hey, and Paul, so one thing about the onside kick, they changed that. Onside kicks are now not going to be in play until the 4th quarter, and you have to be trailing in order to execute an onside kick. And you also have to go to the official and announce that you're doing an onside kick. Okay, so there's not going to be any of that where you line up thinking that somebody is going to kick the ball down the field and they do the old okie doke. You know, and try to get a surprise onside kick. You got to announce to the official that you're doing the onside kick, and it's not going to be in play until the 4th quarter, and you have to be trailing. All right.
Right.
Quan, Tony.
Well, I mean, hey, I love this rule. I mean, as a person who's been watching the XFL, I mean, I was telling Doug behind the scenes, like, yeah, I like this rule because it creates some exciting plays, man. If it's executed right, I mean, like you said, if you find a crease, you out, and that's it. And me and my homeboy at work was talking about it as well. Like, you can also see a couple of different plays out of it. Like, you can see some reverses and stuff out of this, man. It might get creative depending on what team you're watching, but I like the kickoff rule. It's safe for the players. I mean, obviously running full speed down the field and going at full collision, that can be dangerous. So I definitely understand implementing this rule. And also another point, man, like just how often we see the ball go into a touchback. I mean, it's really just no point in the kickoffs, that much. So it's like, okay, I mean, let's switch it up. Let's make it more exciting. Let's give these guys a chance to, make a return. And I don't know. I like the rule, man. I like it.
Okay.
Yeah. I like it as well. I watched it being implemented the first year the XFL came out, and I thought it was something that was unique and different. And I didn't know how it was going to be taken, with the league and all like that. So I am kind of surprised to see that the NFL is taking something from the XFL, and implementing it into their league. But I like it. It, like you said, it no longer makes the kickoff boring or predictable, pretty much, because about 85% of most kickoffs are touchbacks and brought out to the 25. So it does bring some type of excitement back to the game.
Hey guys, I gotta go ahead and hop off, man. I definitely appreciate y'all having me on the show.
Hey, we appreciate you being here, big rich
Hey, we
homie.
appreciate you too.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hey, make sure y'all hit that like button, man.
Yeah.
Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed to Two Fans, man.
Yeah.
Doing it big, got plenty more content coming, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to these guys. Show them some love, man. Hey, I'm up out of here. I'll catch y'all on the next live.
We appreciate you, Quan, and
All
everybody
right,
still rocking with us. Make sure y'all go over to Quan's channel and check him out at the Panthers Experience, Uncle Quan. And Paul, I was trying to see who the special teams coach was, but I did not. I wasn't able to type fast.
Here, I got you. Oh, do you know it? Do you know it, CJ?
No, I don't. I forgot his name. I can see his face, but I forgot his name.
I got you.
Okay.
I'm right
here.
And
and I was
Tracy Smith.
Yep.
Tracy Smith is the special teams coordinator.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And y'all gonna say it's not the XFL anymore. It's
UFL. Yeah.
United Football League. And I'm not even gonna lie. I was kind of excited for it because I thought they were going to merge the entire USFL with the entire XFL. But I think they took 4 teams from each league, so they have a total
Or each
of 8
league
teams.
of 8. Correct.
Yeah. So this
Correct.
weekend starts off with I think the Seattle Sea Dragons and the Birmingham Stallions, the champions from both of those combined leagues. And yeah, I thought we were going to see more games, more teams, but you know, it's not the NFL, so we got. I guess they got to crawl before they walk. So we'll see. All right. All right. So next rule, okay, the NFL trade line will be 1 week later instead of week 8. The trade deadline, the date has been moved back to week 9, and I think the Steelers proposed this, especially after they added one more game to the season. This kind of pushes it in line with being like in the middle of the year because we have 18 weeks, so now the trade deadline will be at week 9. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So now, before with challenges, okay. So if you start off the game with 2 challenges, all right. If you use both of your challenges and you won both of your challenges, you earned the 3rd challenge. Now they changed it, so all the coaches have to do, all the teams have to do, you have to win 1 challenge and you get a 3rd one.
You get that 3rd.
Okay?
Yeah, correct.
What y'all think about that? How y'all like this?
Love it.
I like that. Yeah, okay. I like it.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Go ahead. All right. And now this is the one here. I'm gonna need y'all help on this one because this one got me a little confused. It says enforcement of fouls on change of possession plays during a play that results in a possession change. If fouls are committed by both teams, any major offensive fouls like unnecessary roughness that were committed before the possession change will now be enforced. So I'm the official ruling was it was worded a little different. So does that mean like now there's a change of possession and there's like a
unsportsmanlike?
Yeah. So was it not enforced before and they just gave the change of
possession? They all set.
Remember
they used to offset.
Yeah, they offset.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we'll look into that one further. But I ain't gonna lie. I was looking at that and I was like, you know what? I said maybe my guys will know a little bit more about this one than me.
I'm gonna need to look a little bit more into that because I honestly haven't looked into it, so I don't want to speak on it and not know what I'm talking about.
Facts. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Tony. All right. So this one's also interesting. Changes to replay. These are the replay changes the owners approved this week. The replay assistant will now be allowed to correct objectively incorrect calls for intentional grounding and roughing the passer. Okay. I think that's big, because now you get quarterbacks that go to the ground and will barely touch, they can rule
right
on that now.
Right.
Those
even the ones that are missed.
Games.
Even the ones that was missed that should have been called, roughing the passer that wasn't called, they can step in objectively and make the correct call. What I'm trying to say. Sorry about that.
No, you good. Yeah. So
the you need your
replay
coffee.
review.
You need your coffee. You need your coffee, Tony.
Nah, he need his tea.
No. Well, I need both.
Lord have mercy. All right. So replay review will be allowed when there is clear and obvious visual evidence that the game clock expired before any snap. Okay. Now that has been a thing in issue in the past too, where you can tell. Okay. Game clock. I mean, the play clock is at 0, and they missed the call. All right. So I'm with all of these. I think a lot of these plays should have been reviewable a long time ago, because like I said, some of these actually do affect the outcome of games, a lot. Okay. And also ruling of passer down by contact or out of bounds before throwing a pass are now reviewable plays as well. Okay. So it seems like they're basically expanding, what plays can be reviewed, whereas before it was a bunch of, this play is not reviewable, and then they just have to go on to the next play. So
right.
What you see, Doug? What I missed?
Mr. Hunky Dory. Go ahead, I'll read it to you. It sits not that young where Tony is. He needs some bacon.
Oh my God.
I'm not even gonna touch that. I'm not even gonna touch it.
Hold on. Tim Stain said, just tune in. We're going to get Gilmore. Hey, we hope we do, man. We hope we do. It right now it's just kind of speculation. Joe Person said, per a source, the Panthers have reached out to him on a possible return. So that's all we know so far. Unless I don't know if anything is broke since we've
on
been on.
that, after we signed Clowney, he liked Josina Anderson's post about Clowney coming back to Carolina. So a lot of people been talking about that on Twitch.
Oh wow.
That he's paying attention to that. He's paying a lot of attention to that.
Yeah.
Hey, them boys played at South Point together and South Carolina. Yeah, so that means something. That means something.
He on that Clowney on that phone. Trust me, he on that phone.
Yeah.
Okay, another rule change: designated to return players during the playoffs. Okay, so before this rule change, I think they had a total of 8 period for the entire season.
Yeah.
So now, when it comes to playoff time, they have an unlimited number of players to be designated return from injury. Okay, so the thing was, teams were running out of those 8 spots before they went to the playoffs. And I think, what was it, last year, the Texans were one of those teams when it came playoff time, they didn't have any spots for to have any players to designate to return from injury. So this opens it up for people for teams in the playoffs, so that when they have players coming back, they don't have to worry about, do we have enough of those designated spots for them to return during the playoffs. It's unlimited. Okay.
Right.
All right. Also, emergency quarterbacks. Emergency third quarterbacks who are available to play in case the starter and the backup are ejected or injured can now be elevated from both the 53-man roster and the practice squad. Last season, emergency QBs could only be elevated from the 53-man roster. All right. So now, before you had to elevate your quarterback as part of the 53-man roster, and they were there, like you said, just in case both starting quarterback and your backup got hurt or ejected. So now it doesn't count as a roster spot. They can be elevated from the practice squad. And I think if I read it right, it's kind of they can have unlimited elevations, from the practice squad to the to the game day roster. But the only caveat with that is if that player, that quarterback, is signed to another team from our practice squad. So, now that doesn't count against the player. And also, if you were elevated from the practice squad, I think it's 3 times in a season, you have to be on the full roster to the active roster. Okay, so now this kind of eliminates that, where they can elevate the QB, well, just for the QB spot, they can elevate the QB as many times as they want to without any fear, except for another team signing them off the practice squad. All right.
Let me answer the question right quick. QJ Diggett said someone said 8 million, QJ Smith, but the actual cap figure right now, we are negative $4 million as far as in cap space. But again, not to be alarmed, that number can be adjusted. There's still some room, still some things that can be done as far as restructures, and there's some guys that's probably in the practice squad that's going to be released sometime soon, especially before the draft. So don't be alarmed by the current cap number right now. That's all going to wash out.
Okay. Chaos Gaming said, can you block people from taking certain players from your practice squad? I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
Think so. Yeah.
No.
Practice
squad is free game.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Well, fellas, that was a very interesting episode, and I appreciate Doug for dropping by as usual. I think he has been officially dubbed as the third fan in the stands by our longtime commenter Digit in the chats. So we're gonna dub him the third fan in the stand. All right. And shout out to Uncle Quan, who pulled up on us and joined us tonight. And like I said before, everybody, if you haven't, check out Doug's channel. What's up, Doug? Quan at the Panthers Experience, Uncle Quan. If you're not subscribed to those channels, go do that. Also, if you're not subscribed to Two Fans in the Stands, please hit that subscribe button for us. Hit the like button at the very least. We appreciate it. Helps us out with the YouTube algorithm. check us out. Check all of us out on all our social media channels. And fellas, y'all got anything y'all want to say?
No, sir. I don't think I had to say. Y'all got to stay tuned. I'm telling you, we got some content coming for y'all next month. Stay tuned. Like I said, if you are not subscribing to Fans in the Stands, you're going to miss out on that content. Again, also share the live. Again, like they say, follow them on Twitch and all social media platforms as well, man. So
hey, we appreciate you seeing.
Hey man, I ain't got nothing, man. The crab is sleepy, Dylan. The crab is sleepy, man. Crab is sleepy.
Oh my goodness, yo, y'all are wild. Hey, Austin, right? Hey,
Smash that like button, man, on your way out.
Yeah, exactly. When y'all leave out the door, hit that like button for us. We appreciate it. All right.
Sir.
Yeah.
So as I do every episode, y'all, I want to take us out, and our status for Saturday's live is still up in the air right now. We got some things going on, so we'll let you know. But make sure you turn your post notification bells on, so if we do go live Saturday, you'll know when we go live. All right. But I like to take everybody out with 3 things. Number 1, as always, y'all be good. Number 2, as always, y'all be safe. And number 3, and most importantly, everybody out there in Panther Nation, y'all make sure y'all do this one thing for me. Keep pounding, y'all. We'll see you.